Welcome. It is an important step to make sure that you want to claim about your product before you start the clinical evaluation. This course is a step-by-step review of the clinical evaluation process under the European Medical Device Regulation, EU MDR. We will begin by outlining the regulatory background process and defining key terminologies. The clinical evaluation process is an important part of conformity assessment for all medical devices, regardless of which risk classification they fall under. It is also closely linked to the risk management process and post-market surveillance activities. This course will clarify and emphasize these parallels throughout each step of the process. We will then go through the prerequisites before you start your clinical evaluation activities, how to define the safety claims, what the starting points are, and what is expected by the regulators, how this process is linked with the risk analysis. The next step is to define the performance and clinical benefit claims for the product and what the starting points are. You will learn to establish benefit-risk conclusions. Importance of design freeze. Next, we will explain what kind of datasets are acceptable under EU MDR and how to present them in your clinical evaluation. The objectives of this part is to understand the terminology, define the safety claims, define performance and clinical benefit claims, assess the acceptability of the benefit-risk ratio. Let's begin by clarifying the regulatory background for medical device regulations and other documents, all of which manufacturers must take into account throughout the clinical evaluation process. Medical Device Regulation, MDR, is a set of regulations that govern the manufacturing and distribution of medical devices in Europe. It is accompanied by guidance documents that are not legally binding. MDGC present a common understanding of how the MDR should be applied in practice, aiming at an effective and harmonized implementation of the legislation. MEDEV 2.7/1 is a guide for manufacturers and notified bodies that covers the clinical evaluation process. European requirements for the clinical evaluations are outlined in MEDEV 2.7.1, Revision 4. They will be reviewed in detail throughout the course as a basis to the MDR. Adhering to MEDEV 2.7.1 ensures reasonable compliance with the MDR. Although the directive has undergone major updates in the past, its basic principles have remained the same, though more enforced and with more elaborate guidance. ISO and IEC standards are a collection of best practices that promote product compatibility, sharing of solutions and know-how, and identification of safety issues. The standards present an approach that has been agreed upon by international experts. Finally, quality standards refer to sets of guidelines, systems, methods, requirements, and specifications followed by an organization to ensure consistent process and product quality.